Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Friday morning to you all. Hope everyone is doing well out there this morning and having a great start to your day. Fantastic into your week, beginning to your weekend out there. Here to bring you the latest on what's going to happen weather-wise for your Friday. Thankfully, we don't have a super long video for you folks to break down in detail a crazy severe weather event. There is severe weather ongoing right now, so you folks in like the panhandle of Florida, northern Florida, southern Georgia, of course, your situation is a little bit different. It's very active right now. We could have some more strong to severe storms fire up a little bit later on this afternoon to this evening for the eastern half of the Carolinas. So really, as far as active weather, that's going to be your most active weather. So we'll break that down in detail, but of course, won't spend a whole lot of time on that. There is an enhanced risk up, but this is really for what's ongoing right now. I think this will drop a little bit later on this morning to early this afternoon. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. Thank you all for the support over the last few weeks. The growth of the channel has been pretty awesome to see. So welcome to any new people that's new to the channel that chose to subscribe, and welcome to the family. And thank you all so much for the support and choosing this channel to tune into. If you guys have anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below. Let's get rocking and rolling. So, a lot of rain across the northeast areas of the mid-Atlantic, really southern New England, PA, New York State. You guys are seeing a whole lot of rain, a very soggy start to your Friday morning. We'll talk about that. And then down here in the southeast, really North Florida, southern Georgia, rain starting to move out of Alabama now. We have a nasty line of storms that's popping off tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. So this will continue where there is a severe thunderstorm watch ongoing right now. By the time some of you folks watch this video, this will be cleared on out, but we could get some more storms that fire up a little bit further south along that cold front boundary, or ahead of that cold front boundary here in the peninsula of Florida. A little bit of energy out here in Colorado. It's dumping a good bit of snow here along the front range here in Colorado, and then points west into the Rocky Mountains of the state, and then some rain in some of the lower elevated regions and eastern sections of Colorado. We do have some energy pivoting around this area of low pressure that's sitting right here. This will actually fire up some strong and severe storms across Minnesota, Wisconsin, maybe the UP and Michigan a little bit later today. These could produce a little bit of hail, but I don't think, no outbreak of severe weather by any means. So we continue to move forward. Watches, warnings, advisories, of course, down here in this muted pink color. You do have those severe thunderstorm watches, ongoing warnings, freeze warnings up here in the upper Midwest. Even this time of the year, you're starting to get freeze warnings issued. You're starting to get later, deeper into May. So, starting to definitely fully move past the cold weather now, even in this neck of the woods. Winter weather advisories, even some winter storm warnings up for the higher elevations of Colorado, and a couple wind alerts scattered about out here. Other than that, it's pretty quiet. Excessive rainfall outlook, marginal risk down here. And this is really for what's going on right now, at least a 5% chance of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles at any given point. The Storm Prediction Center outlook. We do have that enhanced risk. This does include like Tallahassee, northern Florida, southern Georgia. This is for what's going on right now. So I do think this will get dropped to, eventually, I think the entire severe weather setup down here will drop completely by the time we get into this afternoon. But you see the other slight risk up here in North Carolina and the PD of South Carolina. This is for what fires up later on this afternoon. Even Charlotte to Columbia up to Raleigh could get some strong to severe storms today, with just one last gasp bit of energy before a cold front really clears out the atmosphere for the weekend, making a more spring-like weekend across the eastern U.S., I would say. We do have a risk of some strong to severe storms down here in Texas. I don't expect these to be a big deal. And then there's that marginal risk right up here for those storms that will kind of pivot through and certainly provide that chance of hail and things like that. So what is this driven off of? The tornado threat? Just a 2% risk of a tornado within 25 miles in a given location. I would watch these storms. They're going to fire up in the central Carolinas and drift eastward. They could definitely pop off a tornado warning or two for sure. The wind in those yellow areas, that is a 15% chance of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour. And of course, you do have that 30% area. But like I said, this is for what's going on right now with a sweeping line of storms moving across this area. So And then for hail, we do have a 15% risk of hail exceeding 1 inch in diameter or larger in this yellow area. I definitely think we're going to get some hailstorms in the Carolinas later on this afternoon to this evening. So if if you're heading to the beach this afternoon for the weekend or something like that in the Carolinas, definitely be careful as you make your way eastward. You could be dealing with some showers and storms and could be strong to severe storms. Broad look at what's going on. There's that line of storms that will continue to sweep across northern Florida, southeast Georgia. But as you can tell, as you're approaching lunchtime, the main energy is pretty much moved off the southeast coastline. Now you could have another area of energy that fires up behind this. Sweeps across the panhandle of Florida, delivers heavy rain, some strong and severe storms. And I do think this will drift southward into north central Florida. Could prompt some severe thunderstorm warnings, maybe a tornado warning. And then later on tonight, some more storms could be ongoing here, kind of north of Orlando, guys. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little beat down this morning, just a little extra tired. So I think that when you finally start to come down from an active period of weather, it is certainly a struggle sometimes to get these videos out. You're just a little bit gasped. But going to rest up this weekend and certainly just recuperate from what's to come here in the future or whatever it may be. But strong to severe storms in the middle of the night, 06Z Saturday. This is like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning tonight. So we could have some showers and storms drifting southward across the peninsula of Florida. But eventually they'll peter out and won't be really a big storyline. But a closer look at my folks here in the Carolinas, Virginia, Georgia. Check this out. Check this out around 1 to 2 p.m. Storms fire up, bang, right there. This is around 3 o'clock, right? We got a broken line of showers and storms that could be severe from the upstate of South Carolina through the Piedmont, really the Sandhills, all the way to southeastern sections of North Carolina. And I'm telling you, see these pockets of dark reds and purples and things like that. That's where we could have some large hail. And I do think the atmosphere will get juiced up one more time this afternoon for this to occur. So, if you live from Rock Hill, Charlotte, down to Columbia, Florence, down to Orangeburg, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, all the way down or over to the Outer Banks, strong to severe storms could sweep through. And look at them. By the time you get to 6, 7 o'clock, I think these are slamming the coastline. Could have them drifting a little bit further westward as they kind of drift towards the coastline from inland to the coast. And I think really by the time you get to about later this evening, dry air moves in. These storms are just about done. But I do think we can have an isolated spin up. The updraft Felicity swath does highlight this area along the South Carolina-North Carolina state line, points north and south for some storms that have the possibility of rotating from Charlotte to Fayetteville down to Florence all the way to Wilmington. So please be aware of these. There will certainly be some rotating thunderstorms out here. That doesn't mean they're going to produce a tornado, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if we get a tornado warning or two out of this setup. So definitely be aware of that. The Northeast, a lot of widespread light to moderate rain today, especially for Pennsylvania, the southern tier of New York, all the way over to New York City, drifting all the way into the western sections of southern New England. Could get some showers that might drift all the way down to the Delmarva region. And then we could get an isolated, heavier downpour, maybe a storm in western PA down to West Virginia. Showers dancing around overnight in New York, Vermont, New Hampshire potentially. And then we're waking up tomorrow morning to maybe another system about to move in with a piece of energy kind of swinging in and out of Canada today. Rainfall between now and the next 24 hours. Half inch to 1 inch of rain is possible in sections of central PA, the southern tier of New York. Could get a good half inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain in New York before it's all said and done. So definitely just an all-day sort of light to moderate rain that will add up over the course of the next 24 hours. South central U.S., nothing through noon, early afternoon. A conditional strong to severe storm could pop up down here in southwest and western sections of Texas. Very possible, and if it does, it could be strong to severe. Latest long-range HRRR model doesn't really show anything. Some of that energy will drift down to northern New Mexico in the form of mainly rain that's in Colorado right now. But for the bulk of the entire south central U.S., not a whole lot going on. Could get some energy firing up to greet you guys for your Saturday morning across New Mexico, western Texas. A little bit of rain showing up. But all in all, not really a whole lot going on at all. North central U.S., kind of the same deal, but a little bit more active for like northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan. Check out these storms that'll swing through northern Wisconsin, northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, these pockets of red. These storms will have a lot of cold air aloft. They will produce some small hail for sure. As this energy continues to swing through, this is really getting into this evening around dinner time. Line of storms could be sweeping through the northern 2/3 of Wisconsin. I do think they'll lose some steam with the loss of daytime heating as they kind of drift all the way down to Milwaukee and eventually down to Chicago. But this could give you guys some rain overnight across the UP of Michigan, eventually waking up tomorrow morning. This will make its way across lower Michigan, kind of just dampen everything overnight into the wee hours of the morning. Could be waking up to some rain around Cleveland, Detroit for your Saturday morning, all the way down to Indiana and Ohio. Western U.S., I mean, it's quiet too. Besides this energy in Colorado, just lower pressure with a short wave, southern short wave will pivot some moisture, throughout Colorado, Utah, maybe Nevada, maybe all the way down to California. But this won't be a big deal at all. Just kind of lightly spinning around here in the southern tier of the western U.S. And then I think as this continues to kind of make its way eastward, it will start to provide a little bit more of an impact on the weather. And we'll actually talk about that briefly here at the end of the video. But waking up to a little bit more moisture across New Mexico, Colorado, like we mentioned previously. Temperatures today, I'm going to have to get this in motion. Had troubles with my video right when I started this morning, so having to restart some of these panels. But you see the pocket of cooler air. I mean, all the way down to the central apps, West Virginia, PA. Look at this cooler temperatures from D.C. to New York City. You might get locked in the 40s and 50s today because of cloud cover, cooler air aloft, and just rain. So a soggy Friday for sure. I mean, even cool all the way up here into like New England. You get down here to the southeast, hanging on to one more day of humidity and the storm chances, so 70s and 80s. But once you get out here in the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the plains, stable air, no humidity, nice late spring day for sure. Warming on up where this cold front has not really cleared through, so it's going to still be humid in some of these areas pretty far south along the Gulf coastline. But temperatures out west. Okay, my dog's in there creating an earthquake, kicking his legs. So anyways, I'm very off track, very scattered brain this morning. But what's wild is this area of lower pressure is creating cooler air over the central Rockies. But pretty much everybody around it, all the way up to Montana, getting in the 60s and 70s. I mean, even warmer in these higher elevated regions. I mean, 80s all the way into the Pacific Northwest. Look how warm it's getting into the valley region of California. Nice day along the big cities in the Southwest. So it's certainly warming up around this short wave, this southern short wave that is kind of scooting through. And speaking of the short wave, this is going to create some small scale severe weather chances. There's going to be an area of severe weather to watch out for here deep down in Texas. General risk of thunderstorms. I expect this to upgrade to a marginal risk as energy continues to pivot on the west side, this lower pressure here for the Ohio Valley. But don't be too concerned. I mean, I think it'll just be for some small hail with cold air aloft. We get into Sunday, still, a little bit larger of a marginal risk, stretching from extreme southwest Kansas all the way down to the Gulf Coast of Texas. We do have that marginal risk of severe weather. Could upgrade. We'll see what happens. After we get that past this, we're starting to take a look into next week. Things look quieter, but I am watching. It just says predictability too low. I am watching this. See this blue blob? That's an area of lower pressure. This is ridging. This is a huge area of lower pressure that's going to head on out. As I make this go in motion here, we get into Sunday. See this area in blue? This is our southern shortwave. Monday, this is kind of slowly scooting into the middle of the country. I think as this continues to scoot across the country, this is going to bring severe weather opportunities for somebody, especially the southern states. And eventually you get into Tuesday. I think that this could do something as far as severe weather for the southeast, the eastern U.S. as we get into Tuesday. I just think in general this is something to watch. This could bring enough energy, lower pressure, to bring a severe weather threat. And then we could have a more complex setting up for late next week. So we'll try to figure that out as it comes. And that's a deep amplifying trough right in the middle of the country for around this time next week. That's all I got, guys. It's a 15-minute video. That's it. Didn't take long at all. God bless all y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you again soon.